subsection 8, paragraph 2, subheading reporting, provides that the investment officer shall request approval of amounts invested at city council meetings. So that would be, your request is that subsection 8.2 be struck.
Yes.
You're talking, right now there's the 4.7 million right now to be invested, right?
Yes.
So you're presenting that amount of money to us to
Right now.
authorize you to invest. So you're following the resolution now, and we can approve that, and then turn around and bring the draft order, the resolution to look at next month.
But within the
Yeah,
last
so
month
that would
and
be
reviewing the funds, there's several other areas that could be invested without, that I would prefer not to have to wait 30 days to get that. But right now, I am not prepared to give you a $1 million figure or that.
I'm just wondering, I mean, if she's wanting to invest the money, and she's bringing that to us, I think that satisfies the ordinance though, right?
Correct.
And so we're voting, we could vote to allow her to invest that money, and we're still following the current ordinance without violating the ordinance. Now, if you'd like to change the ordinance, so we'll bring a draft back, right? But it would just be, I mean, what's that? That's what I'm saying, yeah, I think it, but with this, we still want to give her the freedom to invest the money. I really don't want to sit on it for a month, and it's fine.
So could I ask for two different things then? One of them is to invest the the 4,700,000 that we have coming back from that CD. And then if I find monies available for investment within the next month, that would be the second portion of that, to invest it and to report to you at the next council meeting what I've invested.
Derek sounds real good, but legally, I don't know.
You guys are,
Okay.
you guys are confused. Okay,
I-
so you're the investment officer under this ordinance. You can invest however you want. This ordinance, however, provides that you should do it through obtaining competitive bids for investment with financial institutions in accordance with 513(9)(4). Is that what you want to do?
She's doing that, she's out looking, trying to find competitive bids.
Right,
to
so
get
you're doing
Right.
that. So
Yes.
Then yes, and I think Councilman Kane is correct that all you're doing is reporting what you're doing, which is consistent with this. You don't have to change this to do it.
Right.
So what do you want?
What do I want
commission
to do? I want to follow Indiana code that says that I am the city's financial officer and that under my jurisdiction of an elected official, that I have the authority to invest the city funds.
Well, no, I need permission to do that. You have that right by law.
My interpretation is this, the way that ordinance is written, before they can invest the money, should have the council approve.
Well, it's not an ordinance, it's just a resolution. So
She's
that,
got
so it's
4.7
not a law.
You've got 4.7 million coming back from the CD, correct?
Yes.
So two things. One, she's asking permission to reinvest the 4.7 million that she has coming back from the CD, which follows that resolution. Second, she's saying, if she finds additional funds between now and the March meeting, she wants us to give her a verbal approval to go ahead and invest those, which is a violation of the resolution.
But it's not a violation of the Indiana code.
But it is a violation of the resolution, which can be, local ordinance or resolution can be more specific than Indiana code. It can't be more broad.
Okay.
So this body would have to amend that for additional funding. So the 4.7 you already have, you can invest that.
Okay.
In terms of other monies that you find, I think you'd have to be inconsistent, you'd have to do it consistently with this resolution.
We changed the resolution.
The resolution hasn't been changed.
Right.
The resolution hasn't been changed.
Right.
For her to vote to reinvest the 4.7 million, so as I mentioned, the motion to let her do that.
I'll make a motion that we allow the clerk treasurer to invest the $4.7 million, and that we bring I guess, an amendment to the resolution 2019-7 to review next month, to align with Indiana. guess I don't even, strike the amendment to the ordinance.
She
We
can
can
just
do that,
present
we
it.
can do that anyway, right? We
Right.
don't need that in the motion.
Right.
So,
Does that cover it?
Now you're making a motion.
I'm just making the motion that we allow her to invest the $4.7 million that's coming back.
Second.
All those in favor of allowing the clerk treasurer to invest the 4.7 million, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, thanks, Brenda.
Okay.
We'll see you next month.
So I, to understand, if I find additional funds, I cannot do anything until that resolution is changed for
Right.
next month.
Unless you do it consistent with the resolution. The resolution doesn't prohibit you from doing anything. You don't have to ask permission under this resolution. It is literally the investment policy set forth the investment objectives and parameters for the management of public funds. It says it applies to investments. I mean, so as long as you did it within, if your investment is consistent with 2019-7, you can do it until the cows come home. Don't care.
She's going back to that one clause that's in there, says,
It says
Right,
I can't
all
do it
says-
without
Yeah,
approval.
recording just says that you have to request. Oh, you have to do the requesting approval. Okay.
Shall request.
Yes. So you shall
Instead of may.
request. Yeah,
Okay. I'll be back next month.
Okay, we'll see you.
Thank you.
Okay, so the last couple things we have here, there's a resolution to amend city police and fire personnel handbooks. This is something that was brought up over the last month. I think we addressed it. There are certain chunks missing from police and fire that are needed for certain protections. I hosted a meeting with the public safety divisions that are missing these chunks with Attorney Stephen and Julie Nave, our HR person, to sort of talk through what these look like. And Attorney Stephen should have sent you the language, but it is a very high level sort of addition, amendment to the police and fire handbooks to encompass the pieces that are missing that we need sort of immediate coverage of that we don't have, that was either left out of the police and fire handbooks accidentally or intentionally, we don't know. So it's sort of a catch-all, and I'll let Attorney Stevens sort of expound upon that.
Yeah, and it shouldn't take me more than a couple hours. So basically, you have 3 handbooks. You have city handbook, fire handbook, police handbook. Okay? Every city employee is a city employee, period. Fireman, water worker, everybody. All city employees are city employees, so they're all under the city employee handbook. But not all city employees are firemen. So if I'm a fireman, I have to look at the fireman handbook. Okay? Everybody with me? That's fine, because I did poorly in board works and I'm trying to get better. So. There is no provision in the city handbook that says this is designed to cover all city employees. It says it to cover all city employees, but it's confusing because then you also have the fire department handbook and you have the police department handbook. So if I'm a fireman, I may only, conceptually, I look to this one book that I'm given. It doesn't address certain specific or certain general things, such as work comp. There's no work comp provision in the fire handbook, it's in the city handbook. But there's nothing in the city handbook, the fire handbook, or the police handbook that says you should look to the city handbook for that answer, right? So, the resolution, so there's 2 things that I put in this, there's several things that I put in this resolution. The most important one is paragraph A. Paragraph A and the first whereas just says that in all 3 of these books, we're gonna put in a paragraph that says, if it's not addressed in this book, look to that book to find it. So that if somebody's looking in the fire department handbook and says, well, I can't find how you're supposed to do workers' compensation days, that paragraph makes it very clear that you're supposed to go to the city book to find it. Right? That is the main thrust of this, is to just do a paragraph that, what I call, incorporates them all together. That makes it so if you're looking at these books, you understand that they all work in conjunction. Okay? The other 3 things that are identified there are just certain things that were very clearly identified right now, have been issues. one of them is just adding the word hour. The other, the drug testing, is just giving a different mechanism, just because split methodology on drug testing can be more cumbersome than just doing an instant test. And so for instance, so for situations like where you had a post-accident test, this gives you the ability to do an instant test as opposed to a split. It's just something that was requested. So paragraph E is actually something, I apologize, Exhibit A did not make it into the packets that were given to you. It should be in front of you. Okay? So Exhibit A is a list of amendments to the fire personnel policy handbook that was created by the drafting organization, the company that you guys paid to draft this stuff. She came up with this in November. It's just never been approved. So I included it in this. And then the last thing I've included to ask for here is something that I think you really need, which is a subcommittee created of various department heads and the mayor and somebody from the council and somebody from the board of works if you want, or however you want to do it. But a subcommittee created to examine the personnel handbooks and determine what needs to be changed in them, if there's any specific things that need to be addressed, if there's errors, if there's things that just haven't been implemented as effectively, that sort of thing. So the resolution the resolution that's in front of you is twofold. It's to fix the handful of things that I could quickly identify, the most important of which being paragraph A, and then also to create a subcommittee to look at this in more in depth than what I've been able to do in the past month.
So this was initially started with public safety, and since then I also had meetings with Julie Nabe and the other department heads and groups to sort of find some of these things. So some of this work has already been started, but it would be a much longer process than what we've explained. The handbook is about a year old, but we find confusion and inconsistencies throughout. So it needs a rework, probably either from a professional level, but let us tackle it first to sort of figure out what issues you had over the last year, and then we can move to that phase. Jamie, do you want to speak to the Board of Works motion, or do you want to?
No, I can do that. So the Board of Works reviewed this and they unanimously basically agreed to pass it, excluding the Appendix A, just only because we didn't have that to look at the time, not because we disagreed with it. The firefighter handbook amendment portion, yeah,
This
that's
is considered Appendix A.
on.
Yeah, this is Exhibit A. to the
Exhibit A, I'm
resolution.
sorry, Exhibit A, yeah. Sorry, when the Board of Works was approving this tonight, we had not seen this at that time, we didn't have a copy of it. So that's the only reason we excluded that from our recommendation to approve. Other than that, we've approved it with the contingency that the council basically just review the Exhibit A, if they're okay with that as well. It was our recommendation to
You made your recommendations for the changes on Exhibit A.
Exhibit A was provided to me by Julie Nabe in her kind of ongoing process of dealing with this, but it was actually drafted by, give me a moment and I'll tell you, I can't remember the company name, but it's the one that drafted the policy was to me.
Wagner, Irwin, Shealy.
There you go, thanks. Yeah, and it was actually, yeah, the person that works with them over there is who came up with that back in November of 2018.
Any other questions or comments regarding that?
make a motion to pass resolution 2020-2.
What is the doc number?
said three?
Three.
Sorry. I think that changed to number 3, sorry.
There's been a motion made to pass 2020-3, the resolution to amend the handbooks.
Second.
All those in favor of doing so, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Next in your packet, you have a sort of terms of service and agreement from Reedy Financial Group. These are folks that I think would be a very good addition to our team. I know historically, we've had a menagerie of financial advisors, including Reedy. They were here a while back. Currently, we use Baker Tilly. I am of the opinion that Baker Tilly does provide good services, but they are a very large corporation managing huge accounts. We are a very small fish in their very large ocean. I think it would be worthwhile for us to investigate some other opportunities, and I've been really impressed with what they offer. As you can see in the agreement, that their scope of service is pretty detailed. They work with most, if not all, of our boards, including the Redevelopment Commission, the TIF board, the utilities, and some of the special projects. They also operate on a per hour basis, not on a retainer basis, so we only pay them for what we use them for. One of their big selling points is that they provide a 5-year, sometimes 10-year, if we want to go that in-depth, financial projection. So they create sort of a capital improvement plan for every department. Currently, our utility departments do that as their sort of budget, because they don't present the budget to you all. In addition to helping us create the budget, they will also help work with us to create a 5-year plan on what projects we want to fund and how we pay for them, what accounts and what funding mechanisms based on projections that they project we will have. I think it could be a good change of pace for us. They're based out of Seymour, Indiana, but they also have an Indianapolis office where they do a lot of sort of applied work out of. They're also really good corporate partners with Barnes and Thornburg and Rick Hall, who does our municipal bonding. So that would already be a very cohesive merger or relationship if we get into something that requires us to. That is sort of a lot about what I know about them, but I'm happy to answer some questions. I just think it might be good for us to have a new, fresh set of eyes on the budget and future income projections.
I believe we did have a good experience with them when we used them in the past. Probably, what, 5 years ago, 6 years ago?
And that's consistent with what they told me as well.
Okay, yeah. And they do have a very detailed, they bring a proposal that's very detailed, just as this is.
Who changed?
Good change, of course.
There is. Who changed? So I might have developed.
It changed in the middle of Gary Herbert's term.
Yeah.
That is what I was told. They've asked for just sort of a vote of support so that we can enter into this. It's one of those sort of professional service gray areas, but you know, we obviously have to work together very closely on budget creation and future financial planning. So I'm just asking if you all would be willing to support an agreement with them, and if so, I'll get a hold of them. We'll get the ball rolling, and also let Baker Tilly that we are discontinuing services with them, but thank them for their service.
Are there any penalties because companies discontinuing the Baker Tilly service?
Not that I'm aware of. Part of the contract with them is they've advised that that the continuation of the contract with administration change is not very strong. We can review all of that to confirm, and I can do that with Chris, but I've been told by other parties, not Chris, I won't put this weight on him, that there is not.
He won't put it on me yet.
Right. How will we try to get out of it? That's right.
So I don't know, I haven't reviewed, I have not reviewed their contract to be able to tell you specifically whether or not there is a penalty. My guess would be, just generally speaking, anybody that deals with municipalities has to have in mind that there may be a change of administration that may have within certain consequences. It would not surprise me if there is no penalty for getting out of that contract. Additionally, if there is, I am certain there's always a way to get out of a contract without breaching it. So we can figure out how to get out of it, just whether or not we can do notice or what. The question becomes how much do I have to tap days to go through it? But I haven't reviewed it, so I don't know. But I'm happy to do so and let you know. Obviously, if I find something that I think is going to cost the city substantial, funds for getting out of it, I would be very quick to inform him all of that.
How about if we make a motion of confidence to use Reading Financial, barring the fact that there's no financial.
Substantial.
Well, it's substantial, right?
That's why we're
Yeah.
including it.
Barring there's no financial penalty for leaving Fraser Tilly, then if there is, then maybe we come back and discuss what that financial penalty is. Just decide whether or not it's, I hate to use the word substantial because it's really great. What's
It's plain and simple, if there's any penalty, they gotta bring it back to us.
Right, that's what I'm saying, yeah, so I'll make the motion that we give a vote of confidence, barring that there is no, financial, penalty for leaving Bakerton.
Second.
All those in favor of that motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Thank you very much. We will start that process. I'll work with Chris to make sure we do them. Final thing on the agenda, there is just need a council support for the Historic Preservation Committee, our commission. It's one of those things that I appoint a bunch of people to, but it's one of the few, if not the only, where you have to approve the people. I am proposing that we add Alex Sefton as a member of the board because we've had a vacancy. Adding Sherry Hogg as an advisory, Steve Raymer's advisory, Sarah Hayner as an advisory, and myself as advisory. The mayor usually serves as an advisory member, so does the building commissioner, and then the building assistant has also been a part of that historically. The advisory position, we are adding Sherry Hogg. She is someone who is interested in it, but did not want to commit to a 3-year term. And we thought this would be a good way to sort of start grooming someone to be a part of the conversation so that if someone goes off or doesn't want to be reappointed, we have someone who is already knowledgeable. She has agreed to do that. All we need is sort of just a motion to appoint those people.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. We will notify those folks. Final thing on my thing is Chief Nathan Sturber is here, the new fire chief. I hope most, if not all of you, have had the opportunity to meet him. He'll be around after the meeting, because I know we're already over our hour. Thank you, Chief, for joining us. We look forward to working together. Any questions or comments for him on the record before we talk with him? Okay, and final thing, Councilor Kane, Board of Works.
Brian Winning came asking for a street closure for the, On Eagles Wing. I wrote the date down on a different one, but it's August 29th, I think, yeah, August 29th. So we approved that. Chief Bridges came asking, basically we made 2 conditional officers for 2 additional police officers. One was a new position in the budget, I believe, and one was a retirement. Also on the retirement, it's Dave Wilson. We authorized him to keep his service weapon. He's had more than 20 years of service. Pretty standard there. New fire chief came, obviously he wants money, so he came, right now. We authorized 3 new firefighters. So 2 of them are actually people that are leaving resignations, one is retirement, and then we'll have we'll have interviews actually coming up later this week. But we have 2 other positions that are gonna retire in the next few months coming up, so all together, we'll have at least 5 new firefighters early this year yet. And then Chief also came asking for money for a new ice machine, so he really did ask for money. We approved less than $3,700, basically, it's an ice machine the entire city uses. So we approved that money. Ron May came asking for $12,900 for a supplemental agreement to the Phase 2 Veterans Wake project to kind of clean up some right-of-ways. We approved that. The mayor talked to us about the handbook changes that we discussed tonight during the council meeting. We're gonna get some quotes for additional, like fob scanners at the doors, far end for water, wastewater department there. And then the mayor asked for permission to go out and solicit bids for the website for the city from the Board of Works, who's just kind of going out, trying to figure out, what it's gonna cost, those kind of things. So more to come on that, just to kind of get it out there. And then maybe last but not least, we're doing executive, we'll do the interviews for the other 2 firefighter positions. We've got a couple interviews scheduled for Thursday. the service.
Any questions?
How long do you think it'll take to get the city website current?
Once we start the build process, it'll probably take 4 to 6 months. It's a long process. I asked about that. That'll be part of the discussion on pricing, because right, time is money, so we can always make it faster if it costs more. But I think that that's a reasonable timeline. That's what I've been told. Any other questions?
Yeah, so we looked at the cost for redoing the HVAC system, things like that. Is that something we're gonna maybe reach out then with Reedy Financial to talk about possibly doing a bond on City Hall to help maybe cover that cost
Yeah,
or something?
that was something that I had hoped, once we got them on board, we could start having a discussion about where that fits. And that's all I've been waiting on for that is, and I've talked with Engineer May and about different ways to coordinate the project and how it would affect daily operations at City Hall. So yeah, there's something coming on that, but we just sort of have to start with the budget about how much can we afford, where does it go, and then what other pieces we put on that. So, I don't know if we'll have something by next meeting. I hope we do.
I
We're
just-
supposed to move.
I was just bringing it up because it's, the bond on City Hall is gonna end next year, right?
22 or 23, I
Okay,
think,
so-
but there's an opportunity to roll it into.
We can extend that without increasing that payment, right, increasing those, we extend it and then we can upgrade those things.
And there should be a larger proposal for that once we get there. Or we're going to the background.
I have 4 papers in.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, motion to adjourn? Second? All in favor, say aye.
Everybody